all of the key swing states. They had Lucha in Arizona, Pennsylvania stands up in Pennsylvania, New Georgia Project in Georgia, and they won. They went into the inner cities in those states and did massive vote fraud and signed up a whole bunch of fired up young black and Latino kids to go and stuff ballots. Just what you saw in 2000 Mules by
Susan.
Well, Catherine identified these networks through cell phone data. I identified them through tracking the Chinese Progressive Association and what they were doing, and we came together and met them.
Wow.
Okay. But the point is that this is my argument to those Republicans who say, voter, we've got to move on. I say, look, you're always talking about election deniers, aren't you? Yeah, all these election deniers, they're such a pain, whatever. Okay, well, here's my argument. You're going to go out door knocking, and you're going to knock on the door of a veteran or someone like that, and they'll have American flags all over the place, a total patriot. And you say, we've got this great person for scoreboard, and she's going to get the porn out of the schools, and she's going to do this and that. Can you come down and vote for her? And he'll say, well, do you still have those voting machines in this country? And you'll have to say, well, yes, we do. So, no, I don't trust them. I'm going fishing that day. We're going to lose 5 to 10% of our vote every election going forward because a large chunk of our base does not trust machines. Is that right or is that wrong?
That's true.
It's not whether they work or not. It's not whether they're blockchain or whatever. It's the fact that a large chunk of our base doesn't trust them. So this is a disenfranchisement issue. You've got to tell these Republicans, well, you may be right, the machines may be great. Maybe Biden really did win. But you cannot deny, because you're always talking about election deniers, that a large chunk of our base doesn't trust machines and they're not going to vote going forward, 5 to 10% conservatively. Can we afford that going forward, sir?
No.
We can't afford it anywhere because most elections are won by less than that margin. So that's the argument to make. Until we get paper ballots and voter ID, we are crippling ourselves every single election going forward. So don't make it about the machines. Make it about disenfranchisement of our base.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, because they cannot deny that, because they're always complaining about the election deniers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the other thing Republicans will tell you to do is don't touch the social issues. They're divisive.
Oh my God.
They're terrible. Just keep it about the money. Keep it about the taxes. Keep it, don't touch the social stuff. Right? Well, Sue, you're a young black woman in San Francisco. What keeps you up at night? Is it the fact that the state budget is not balanced, or the fact that you don't have cops in your neighborhood keeping the gangs away from your kids?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think's firing them up more? All these veterans all over this state, these old Vietnam guys and Iraq War veterans, patriotic as hell. What do you think worries them more? The state gas tax, or the fact that their grandson might turn up to Thanksgiving wearing a dress? What do you think worries them more, folks? It is the social issues that drive the votes.
Yeah.
There's a few people who are worried about the money. Well, I want balanced budgets. I want low taxes. Yes. Well, we've gone way beyond that debate. We're worried about the borders. We're worried about our faith. We're worried about our kids. We're worried about keeping the country. We're worried about the social issues that bind this country together. It's issues of God, of family, and country that fire men's hearts, is it not? Look, most of the Latinos in this state are more socially conservative than the Anglo population.
Yeah.
Most of the black population is more socially conservative than the Anglo population.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the Asian population is way more socially conservative than the Anglo population. So why are we just trying to sell them on cutting the sales tax?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we go to them and say, we're going to clean up the schools, we're going to deregister the teachers' unions,
Amen.
we're going to get the perverts out of your schools, We're going to teach kids real math, real writing, real English. We're going to put homeschool curriculums in our public schools. We're going to put Hillsdale College curriculums in. We're going to get the teachers' unions right out of it. We're going to face them down. You do that, people, you'll have more volunteers than you can cope with.
That's right.
Stand for something. Republican leadership in the state just wants to be Democrat light and hope to get a bit of the spillover vote. And just a friend of mine has a good idea. Civic review boards. You got a local school board. You set up a civic review board of your school board. You get 5 or 6 people, and you criticize and critique everything your school board does, everything they produce, every book they okay, and you publicize that all around your neighborhood for 2 years. Yeah, and you've probably heard of it. And then that civic review board stands the school board. And you've already got a name there. You've already got a record. You know, you can do this. You know, that kind of thing can be done. Another thing I would say, well, you've got to getting rid of the top 2 and open primaries has got to be on the thing as well. That's just crippling you going forward. It's totally crippling you. But I think that social issues, voter integrity, are absolutely critical. You know, you've got a huge base out here that's not inspired.
That's right.
Why aren't they inspired? Because nobody talks about God and country and the Constitution and actually what we're going to do. Oh, this is the other thing. When you vet your candidates, the usual thing the Republicans are doing, oh, sir, you want to stand for school board? You want to stand for state rep? That's great. What do? I'm a lawyer. Oh, that's great. And how long have you been a Republican? Oh, a couple of years. Well, that's great. And do you believe in the First Amendment? Oh, yes, of course. Believe in the Second Amendment? Yes, of course. Great, we're behind you. Okay? This is what you've got to do. You've got to look at your California Constitution and your US Constitution. You've got to look at the problems you're faced, and you've got to ask them for their solutions. Sir, you want to stand for state rep. Will you or will you not vote to defund any university in California who denies free speech to its students? Will you or will you not? What is your plan for deregistering and taking away the power of the teachers' unions? What is your plan? You say you believe in the Second Amendment. Yes, of course, I love duck hunting. What is your plan to get rid of any unconstitutional ammunition taxes, restrictions on gun stores? What is your plan for ending restrictions on the Second Amendment in this state?
Amen.
What will you propose and what will you stand for? You will eliminate 90% of those who come before you, but you won't waste your time on losers who dispirit your base. You're the ones you actually do elect will be inspiring, brave, courageous people who are worth following and will actually do something when they're in office. We are where we are now, not because the communists are so strong, because the Republicans are so darn weak and so darn lazy. Lucha in Arizona, Pennsylvanians have been too apathetic. With Georgia Project in Georgia, and they won.
Absolutely correct.
The inner cities in those states. Right, so why does it do what we do? Why should we? A whole bunch of fired up young black and Latino kids to go and stuff. You know, sometimes just what you saw in 2000 by you got a lot of pastors out there who will tell you 2 things. Catherine identified these networks with cell phone data. We're too holy. I identified them. And it's not really a focus. Chinese. Well, it doesn't matter because we're all going to get raptured next Tuesday anyway. So. But the point is that this is my argument. Well, here's my argument for this rapture. I don't want to get into theological debates at all. Because everybody's got different ideas how it's all going to end. Some people believe this. Yeah, all these election deniers. This is what I say. Such a pain. So you're telling me, okay, you will not get involved in politics because you think the end times. You're going to go door knocking. And so, yeah, you're going to knock on the door against God's veterans or someone like America and cause mass misery. And they'll have American flags all over the place. That's what he wants to do. Obviously, we've got this great person. And so well, that's your plan. Okay. She's going to I believe you're sincere in that. She's going to do this and that. Can you come down and vote for her? I believe you're sincere. The day those voting machines in this country. And you really say, well, yes, the day you stop changing. No, I don't trust them. I'm going. We're going to lose 5 to 10%
do we get relieved
of our civic responsibilities because a large chunk of our base does not of God's plans.
Never.
Is that right?
It's true.
When are we? How it's not whether they work or not. It's not whether they pay us stuff. Whatever. We still got to be the fact that a large good family members. We still got to pay our taxes. We still got to mow. So this is a disenfranchisement to the very last moment. You've got to tell these Republicans, and we're supposed to restrain evil, are we not?
Yes.
Is there evil in the land right now? Deny, because you're always talking about millions of kids in this state that a large chunk of our base doesn't trust machines, and they're not going to vote going forward. 5 to 10% conservative one. So I say, can we afford that going forward? I just saw Christians in Iraq. We can't afford it anywhere because most elections are won by less than that Nigeria. So that's the argument to make. Until we get paper ballots and voter ID, we are crippling ourselves every single election going forward. So that shows. So don't make it about the machines. Make it about disenfranchisement of our base. That's because they cannot not sparing. There's always complaining about spare us. He's going to. Now the other thing that Republicans will tell you to do is, because we're different. We're sort of better. They're divisive.
Oh my God.
They're terrible. The argument. Just keep it about the money. Keep it about the taxes. Now, don't touch the social stuff. I believe we are going to. You're a young black woman in San Francisco.
Absolutely.
I really think. What keeps you up at night? You told me the fact that the state budget is not balanced, or the fact that you don't have cops in your neighbourhood down on the gangs away from your kids. What do you think's behind the stories like that? Many. All these veterans all over the state, these old Vietnam guys and Iraq War veterans, patriotic as hell.
Amen.
What do you think worries them? The state gas tax, or the fact that their grandson might tune up on Thanksgiving wearing a dress. Have you ever seen an example? What do you think worries them more, folks? Save a whole bunch of. It is the social issues that drive the vote. There's a lot of that. There's a few people who are worried about the money. David versus Goliath. I want low taxes. David versus Goliath. We've gone way beyond that. We've got a string and a rock. We're worried about the border this way. We're worried about our faith. We're worried about our rockets. We're worried about keeping the country. Sure, God. We're worried about the social issues that bind this country together. It's issues of God, of family, and country. That firemen's hearts. No, 5,000, no, 2,000. Most of the Latinos in the state are more 300 conservative than the Anglo population. So they're standing there with 300. Most of the black population is more socially conservative than the Anglo population. Most of the Asian population is way more socially conservative than the Anglo population. So why are we just trying to sell out on cutting the sales tax? Why don't we go to them and say, we're going to clean up the schools, we're going to deregister the teachers' unions, we're going to get the perverts out of the schools, we're going to teach kids real math, real writing, real English, we're going to put homeschool curriculums in our public schools, we're going to put Hillsdale College curriculums in, we're going to get the teachers' unions right out of it. Because it tells them that you don't believe. You do that, people. You believe in nothing beyond your own sorry little life. Stand that you for just something. Have so little Republican leadership in the state so scared of Democrat lights that you will just tell any lie or appease any dictator or train anybody's good idea. Civic review boards. That's what it's. You've got a local school board. See, you set up a civic review board of your school board. You get 5 or 6 people. And you criticize and critique everything the school board does, everything they produce, everything they say okay, and you publicise that all around your neighbourhood for 2 years. Share some of that. And you've only heard of it. And then that civic review board stands the school board. And you've already got a name. You've already got a record flooded. You can do this. Massive typhoon, that kind of thing can be done. Back down there, another thing I would say. Well, you've got to getting rid of the top 2 business districts has got to be just working to try and save the town. But you sit at home all day praying. But I think that social issues, voter integrity, are the most important. You've got a huge base out here. Okay, so if your country,
That's right.
why aren't which is because nobody founded on the God and country, first constitution says and actually what we're going to do. Oh, this is the other thing. That has done more to spread the gospel around the world than any other candidates. The usual thing the Republicans that has saved more people. Oh, sir, you want to stand for scoreboards? Do you want to stand for churches? That's great. What do you do? I'm a lawyer. Hospitals and schools around the world. And how long have you been a Republican? A couple of years. Has lifted more people from poverty. And you believe in the First Amendment? Oh, yes. If that country is on the verge of collapse, if evil is running rampant, and this is what you got to do. You have zero responsibility for saving it. And your US Constitution.
No.
You're going to look at the problems you face, 417, and you've got to ask them for their solutions. But does not do it. You want to stand for a state rep. Will you not just or will you not vote to defund any university in California who denies free speech to the student? Will you or will you not? So what is your plan for deregistering and taking away the power of the teachers? What is your plan?
That's right.
And to say you believe in the Second Amendment. Yes, of course, I love that. Is that too harsh a statement? What is your plan to get rid of any unconstitutional ammunition taxes, restrictions on gun stores? What is your plan for ending restrictions on the Second Amendment in this state?
Amen.
What will you propose and what will you stand for? You will eliminate 90% of those who come before you. So here's an example. But you won't waste your time on losers who dispirit your base. You'll actually do elect will be inspiring, brave, courageous people who are worth following and will actually do something where they have the numbers, they have the moral authority. We are where we are could have stood up because the communists and did they do it because the Republicans have been so very few exceptions. They put swastikas in their trees, they become good nuts and allowed it to happen. Hitler said, you look after the souls in
Absolutely correct.
And what did that negligence and cowardice lead to? What we do? Why destructive wars to tens of millions of people? You know, who had to fix the mess of enthusiasm? It was young Americans and Canadian, British, Australian, Kiwi Christians. Well, we're too holy in politics. And put on you, it's not really a focus. Or it doesn't matter because we're all going to get wrapped in next Tuesday anyway. And charged across the Pacific, hopping from island to island. Well, here's my malaria and the Japanese. I don't want to get into theological right with a mess. Because everybody's got different ideas how it's all going to end. Some people believe this, and some people believe that. So this is what I say. So you're telling me you will not get involved in politics because you think the end time. We've all heard that little story, famous story. This is against God. I don't even know if it's true. But it illustrates the point. In a little German church, that's what he wants to do, obviously, on a railway side. And so they're all singing away. Well, I believe you're sincere, Pastor. The day that a train pulls up outside, it's got boxcars. I believe you're sincere. And you've got boxcars. Help us, water, really sincere. Help us, let us out. What do those German Christians do? When do we get relieved of our civic responsibilities by our interpretation of God's plan?
Never.
When tell me who you'd rather be. How can we be so arrogant? Tell me who you'd rather be. We've got to pay our staff. Would you rather be that? We've still got to be good family members. We've still got to pay our taxes. We've still got to mow our lawns to the very last moment, do we not?
Amen.
And we're supposed to restrain evil, are we not?
Yes.
Is there evil in the land right now causing misery? But on the one day he was called a stateroom. He loved God and his neighbor as himself. We're not supposed to restrain that. One day he was asked to show the courage to prove his faith. So I say, failed. I just rather be the 19-year-old boy in Northern California who dies face down on the pool of Nigeria. Who would you rather be? Horrible atrocities. It's not how. I don't hear any reports of them being lifted. It's faith and courage go together. That shows me we're going to get out of this by telling the truth. Telling the truth takes courage. Courage proves faith, and faith, because he's not sparing them, but he's going to spare us. That's what the revolutionary's done. We're not going to have to go through this. That's what we're David, we're sort of better. If he had enough faith and enough that is the argument that God given take places. Now, if he was going to be too holy, because I believe we are going to need to. So,
absolutely.
Really, and I think we all got to understand. But you told me we all look at big leaders like senators, the famous five, but we're all made down on New Margo, which there's many others one of us like that. We all have certain talents because some of the people in the world we said some of them we all have certain talents in certain areas.
Amen.
What do you think world God more? Some of modest talents, so uses them 100% to honour and do what is right. Or someone with great talents who fritters it away or uses half of it. Save a whole bunch. Who do you think is more important in God's eyes? Not in our eyes. There's a lot of that in God's eyes. Okay. He put us all there for a reason, gave certain talents for a reason. David versus what we do, a little bit of string and a rock. And everybody's running this way, and he runs it live. And he throws that rock and smacks it. And I'm sure every one of us is important as every other. But David had to throw it. Every single one of us was put here for a reason. So never think Gideon's army versus the horde, give me 10,000, no, 5,000, no, 2,000, no, 1,000, no, 800, no, 300, that's all you get. So they're standing there with 300. You're given certain talents. You're expected how much courage to do what is right with those talents. Are you not? Where did that courage come from? So isn't that the most important thing? Faith. That gives dignity to every single one of us. You think about it, in the book of Revelation, every one of us there's a little chapter there, and one of us is this. It's people who go to hell, every one of us could be important. So this is what I say. The first two groups, we're in a big battle between good and evil, and the communism is just really cowardice is the sin people. It's just because it tells God you don't believe scientific veneer. You believe in nothing beyond your own scientific phraseology and that sort of thing. But basically, you just have three institutions to govern us. That you're so scared of everything, the family, that you'll just tell any lie. If you don't think civil government is a dictator or betray anybody, never read the Old Testament. That's what it's all about, governance and wise kings. These pastors and what happens to you if you don't put a wall around your city. Here's my argument here. There's a lot in there. You're a pastor to guide us. And Jesus didn't come to abolish that. He came to build on that. So we're given those three institutions, and all those three institutions now are under attack by the communists and their allies. If your town Islamist is being flooded, family, they're trying to get inside the church, and they're trying to flood people up back down there, evacuating the elderly and kids, trying to protect the central business district. And then you've got the workers that try and say, when the church is strong and leading home all day praying, and as the moral arbiter of the nation, the families tend to be good. We're the most important sound, and civil government stays within its boundaries. But when the church abdicates responsibility, which families fall into chaos, founded on the vacuum they create. First country, by God says man's rights come from God. Is that inaccurate? So we spread the gospel around the world than any other. The church was doing its job. We wouldn't have saved more people from tyranny.
It's true.
We wouldn't have built more churches, and because hospitals and schools around the world than any founding father has lifted more people from poverty than any other. If that country is on the verge of collapse, if evil is running rampant, and you believe you have zero responsibility for saving it, are you a good Christian?
No.
James 4:17. For he who knows the right thing to do, but does not do it, for him it is a sin. It is not just that you kill or murder or lie or steal. It's what you should have done when you had the chance and didn't. So any pastor who tells you you have no responsibility for the governance of our own nation is sinning.
That's right.
And it's leading people in sin. Is that too harsh a statement?
Nope, it's accurate.
But how many pastors who have these attitudes think that way? Really? They'll think they're so they might have been doing a little bit of they've got it wrapped up, a little bit of depth, you know, that people who get involved in actually trying to help upwards and are sort of beneath them. You know, that's pride before the fall, folks. Do something. So here's an example of what I mean by this. I think this illustrates the point. But I believe before World War II, there was only one group in Germany that could have stopped it. One, that was the German church.
Yep.
They had the numbers, they had the moral authority, they could have stood up to Hitler. And did they do that? So, with very few exceptions, we are put swastikas in their church, but the greatest victories come from the darkest times. Hitler said, you look after the souls of men, that's when the good people get off the dark. What did that negligence and cowardice lead to? I tour around this country, folks, tens of millions of people. I go to groups everywhere. Who had to where I go? There's domestic churches. Getting involved with young American and Canadian British groups, Australian, young Kiwi Christians getting involved. Picked up right and put on you reading their kids' school textbooks, horrified for what their kids are learning, and finally charged across the Pacific, hopping from island to island, fighting malaria and the Japanese. Bigger than the Tea Party, right, and it's young mess the German Christians had. Media doesn't want to tell us about it. Is that too harsh? They made a mistake. So the later World War II, they partially on the heads of just like they make a mistake publicising Trump now and just making bigger. We've all heard that little story, famous story from World War II. So I don't even know if it's true. This is a time, I think this is a critical time. A little German church during World War II, and the decisive fact that it's not going to be politics. They're all singing away spiritual. Great gusto. This is ultimately train going to be up outside. You know, this is going to be the balance of good and evil. Bang! From the box goes, help us, water, help us, let us out. You're going towards the good. You are. What do those German Christians do? Some degree or another. They sang louder. So, I'm not despondent. Now, if you believe I'm going to be held to account one day in some form or another, tell me who you'd rather be on that day. Tell me who you'd rather be. Separate. Would you rather be that German Christian who was an honest man, who was loyal to his wife, who raised a great family, was honest in business, went to church every Sunday, prayed every single day of his life, read the Bible every day. But on the one day, he was called to prove that he loved God and his neighbour as himself. You know, on that one day, he was asked to show the courage to prove his faith when David failed. Would you rather be the 19-year-old boy? Man, the nature of man is the same, and the principles are the same, and we're expected to be heroes. Who would you rather expected to be brave and courageous? Because if you believe in eternity, you're not scared of this. You know, it's faith and courage go together. You're not going to get out of this by telling the truth. Telling the truth takes courage. Courage proves faith, and faith. So this is what I say is God. I'm not optimist. That's what the revelationists think. You know, that's what little Goliath, little David, a little deeper than anywhere else. If he had enough faith and enough courage, God would take notice. God saved a lot of cities because if he was going to be a coward about it. We don't need everybody, but we need a lot of faith and courage. We need to prove it. We need to show it. We need to be loud. And I think we all got to understand out there and not live in a spirit of fear. Big leaders like, and if we do that, but we're all made. Every single one of us. We all have help here, a little bit of summer help here, a little bit of confounding of the enemy's here, a little bit of. We all have certain talents in certain areas. Maybe, what do you think pleases God more? Someone of modest talents who uses them 100% to honour Him and do what is right. I think we're going to need. Or someone with great talents who fritters it away or uses half of it. Who do you think is more important in God's eyes? Not in our eyes, in God's eyes. He put us all here for a reason. He gave us certain talents for a reason. To test what we do with what we have. It's not what we do that counts. It's what we do with what the other one's a lot more talented. So every one of us is important as every other one. Responsible. Every single one of us was put here for a reason. So never think that my talent's too humble. Never think I can't do what Trump does. I can't do what some great leader does. That's not the point. You think you're given everything I understand. You're expected to do what is right with those talents. You've got to show knowledge. So isn't that the most important thing? That gives dignity to every single one of us. Every one of us is important. You don't do that. Every one of us in this common benefits. Every one of us. All of our roles, so every one of us can only spare ourselves. So this is what I want to say to what we're doing is right between good and evil. Fighting for America is just really not fighting for America. Modern form of Satan. It's just with he who will not defend semi-scientific with the scientific phrase infilling. And infil means someone who is given three institutions to govern. Fidelity is church. So the worst, God's saying that the worst thing is an infidel. You don't think civil government is that cowardly and gutless and weak, but someone who won't defend his own about governance and wise kings. And what happens defending America is defending a family, right? The American family. There's a lot in there pastor who tells you to guide us. Jesus didn't come to abolish that. He came to build on. Where is he leading you, folks? So good place. We're given those three institutions. This is all those three institutions. I believe we're on the side of the right. Doesn't mean it's going to be easy. Doesn't mean it's not going to be trials. Doesn't mean trying to teach our family. Trying to get inside. But we can always go to bed at night. The woke church, the pathetic church, the pansy pastor. We can always look at our children in the eye. And then you've got the impact on civil government. See, when the church is strong and leading for you, and it's the whole arbiter of the nation, straight families, the day of account, stand up straight, sound. And civil government says with the bound we've done our best. But when the church is abdicated responsibility, the families fall into chaos, and the vaccinated rates filled by government. Is it better to have lots of holidays in the Pacific? So this all comes down to the church. If the church was doing its job, we wouldn't be your wealth going to matter, and it wouldn't have to be. Your holiday's going to matter in 100 years. Because the church hasn't been doing this. What's going to matter is what we do for what the founding fathers said. That's going to steer where we go. All that pride that goes. So I want to say to everybody, we're in a critical time. We're on the right side. This is a covenant nation. God has helped us get this great nation. So we have fallen away from that covenant and not lived up to our side of the bargain. We want things to be better for our kids and our grandchildren. We've got to live up to our side of the bargain. And if we do that, I see no reason why we shouldn't turn this country around, why we shouldn't have economic booms like we have seen, like we shouldn't have spark a liberty revolution with reverberates all around the world. Set the stage for a spiritual revival. I don't see why look, when your grandfathers were sitting on those we stand up and are willing to stake the slings and arrows. I think they were talking one more point. We are free, and let's sort of fight up. I think they might have been doing. We are free today. We are free today because your fathers and grandfathers and great-grandfathers and great-great-grandfathers, when it was necessary, picked up guns and put on uniforms and went away for years to fight horrible enemies under horrible conditions so that you may be free. And your grandmothers and great-grandmothers and great-great-great-grandmothers worked 16-hour days on farms and in munition factories and built liberty ships and kept the kids in schools and kept the churches open and wrote letters to their husbands and brothers and boyfriends every single night. Do we not owe it to their sacrifice to do what we need to do? That's when the good people get off the darn feet. Then our moral do what they need to do. I tour around this country, folks, step by line. I go to groups everywhere. Everywhere I go, there's new young churches getting involved in local races. There's Moms for Liberty groups. There's all these young people getting involved. They sat at home for 2 years reading their kids' school textbooks, horrified at what their kids are learning, and finally woken up to the fact that we could lose this country. Thank you so much. So there's a real uprising out there, folks. It's bigger than the Tea Party, and it's younger than the Tea Party, but the media doesn't want to tell us about it because they made a mistake publicising the Tea Party and only made it bigger. Just like they make a mistake publicising Trump now, just make him bigger. God bless America. God bless the Golden State. So this is a time, I think this is a critical time in Melbourne, and the decisive factor is politics going to be spiritual. Ultimately, this is going to be, this is going to be balance of good and evil. I got side we cling to. 3 books there. That is all your local communists. You're not going to wood to good, right? Zoloft and issue, all of those things. That is so. I'm not despondent by any means. I think we are here. I've got enemies within the church. If you haven't seen that, list there. There's also some copies of White House Red about Biden, etc. I don't have my credit card thing here tonight. I'll let you know. Everything's $20. Take cash. Take cash or checks as long as you're not a regular. They said, I really wish I learned the book. The pastor says, you do, you fool. What's different? You know, we are. The same principles apply today that applied when David threw the rock. The same principles are here. Nature man is the same, and principles are the same. And we're expected to be heroes. We're expected to be brave and courageous. Because if you believe in eternity, you're not scared of spend a little bit of you're not scared of sitting here and there. You're not scared of the odd death threat. But I haven't had people come to beat me up or anything like that. And so this is what I say, folks. So I get a lot of optimism. So I don't want to because I get to that stage. I'm a bit of a pussy here. Spiritual. I don't want to hear that going, but still deep in it. We've got to be prepared for that. And this is what I say too. We are going to have major civil unrest in the next couple of years in this country. So every group don't need everybody, but we need a lot of what are we going to do to prove that the power goes down, we need to get loud and proud. And are there any law enforcement we do in spirit of fear, any that we trust? And if we do that, military experience, who's got the food? We do that. Who's got storage facilities? Who's got a printing press? Who's got a ham radio? This may be a little bit of help here. That can defend help here. Where do we all go to here? A little bit of what is our receiving for? No, maybe where do we get? Maybe these people could benefit by. So you've got to make a plan. They can turn things around all the time, because otherwise I think we're going to leave it. Look, we'll get we ain't going to get it, but I'm not a mass giver. I don't want more. This is my argument. Why? You know, we will see suffering on this planet, but it's not our job to make it. You've got kids, you've got to come, you know, by our negligence. One is our job to trying to reduce it by our work studies. The other one's a lot more talented. Church orders it responsible. Well, you go to North Korea, you show me what happens if you try and preach the gospel in North Korea. It's not persecution. We get a communist government in this country, they'll know your heartbeat, individual heartbeat from 2 miles away. So if you're gathering in the underground, everything they'll be able to identify you, reading the Bible, and there won't be another country you can run to, folks. Most people think that persecution means going down to the 3 caste and only having 3 holidays a year. If you don't do that, that's what they think, guys. They don't think of it as your head chopped, your children, so you can only spare us. They don't think. So I want to say, look, I've had a bit of what we're doing is right. Fighting for America is not fighting for America is a sin. He who will not defend his own family is worse than an infidel.
Amen.
We're worse than an infidel. An infidel means someone who's unfaithful. Fidelity is faith. So the worst, God's saying that the worst thing is an infidel, an unfaithful person, because they're cowardly and gutless and weak. But someone who won't defend his own family is worse than that. Well, defending America is defending your family, right? The American family. Oh, any pastor who tells you don't do anything to defend America, where is he leading you, folks? A good place. So I think this is why I'm optimistic, because I believe we're on the side of right. It doesn't mean everything's going to be easy. It doesn't mean there's not going to be trials. It doesn't mean things are always going to go our way. But we can always go to bed at night. I got a group that sleep easy. We can always look our children in the eye and say, I'm working for you. The only person everything I can for you. And one day, you're going to be able to stand up straight. Biden stand up straight. He is slow walking, yet stand up straight and know we have done our best. Keeping the world price against anything more worth aiming for than that. But a lot of Republicans, is it better to have a great golf score? Is it better to have lots of holidays and we don't want to be in the same place? No. Where are you going to be in 100 years, folks? If I had a choice, it would be so. Is any of your wealth going to matter in 100 years? Your holiday's going to matter in 100 years. What's going to matter is what you do for what is right here and now. That's going to steer. So I want to say to everybody, we're in a critical time. We're on the right side. This is a covenant nation. God helped us get this great nation. But we have fallen away from that covenant and not lived up to our side of the bargain. If we want things to be better for our kids and our grandchildren, we got to live up to our side of the bargain. And if we do that, I see no reason why we shouldn't turn this country around. Why we shouldn't have economic problems like we haven't seen. Why we should but we're going to give $7 billion to Iran, and you're not allowed to go after Hamas. We're going through a spiritual revival. We're going to give a whole bunch of money to the authorities over there, which won't go to terrorists. If we stand up and are willing to slay this slings and arrows. Look. We are free. Here's what the Republicans are walking into. We are free today. We are free today because your fathers and grandfathers and great-grandfathers and great-great-grandfathers, when it was necessary, picked up guns and put on uniforms and went away for years to fight horrible enemies under horrible conditions so that you may be free. And your grandmothers and great-grandmothers and great-great-great-grandmothers worked 16-hour days on farms and ammunition factories and built Liberty ships and kept the kids in schools and kept the churches open and wrote letters to the husbands and brothers and boyfriends every single night. A lot of faults. Do we not owe it to their sacrifice? We are facing, we need to do to ensure that it's going to face up against you. Is that our moral obligation? Plus what's coming across the southern border, plus what's happening in Syria. You don't want pretty little 59s to be there. You don't want to make the sacrifices. The VP to start has got to be someone meaner and free or freer than we. So that if Trump, so then I've got no incentive to bump Trump off because I want to say to all of you people. And I don't see anybody immediately on the why not get some real military guy for these so much hardcore. See, this is what Trump has to do. He would have to say, Mr. Putin, show courage and stand up for the crowd. We're going to back Ukraine, and our goal is for Ukraine to win and recover all its territories. That is the goal. Biden's never said the Golden State. That is the goal. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to open up the America. We're going to drop the price of oil $1 a gallon all over the world. And we're going to be rich, and we're going to give all the oil the Europe wants, and you're going to go broke, Mr. Putin. You really want it. That is all your local communist. But see, Biden's doing because he's not putting out a clear objective about all of those things. Because he's slow walking all the aid, and he's keeping the price of energy high and doing backroom deals with Putin behind Zelensky's back. He is just playing with the White House Reds, but conservatives are very confused. I don't have my credit card. Oh well, Biden hates Putin, so Putin must be all right. And the Ukrainians are hopelessly corrupt, which is Russian lies. New Jersey.
Let's a couple questions. Questions short, presentation, so you can't ask the question in 10 words or less.
How have you been persecuted or?
Okay, we'll talk about later. Well, I don't know. Well, one more question. Look, I haven't had ladies. Like I've been defunded, I've been kicked off media platform you can think of. Yeah. I know there's been a little bit of surveillance here and there. I've had the odd death threat, but I haven't had people come to beat me up or burn my house down or anything like that. So my messages wanted to mainly been I'm a bit of a pussy, really. I started even thinking. I don't want to have that going, but we've got to be prepared for that. And this is what I say too. We are going to have major civil unrest in the next couple of years. So I've probably spoken to every group like this, every church group. You should be thinking, what are we going to do? Mainly with power goes down, the grassroots conservatives. Are there any law enforcement we can go and deputise with, any that we trust? Who's got military experience? Who's got food? Who's got storage facilities? Who's got a printing press? Who's got a ham radio? All little groups coming up that can defend each other. Where do we all go? So I'm full time for us. What is our assembly point? We're full time. Where do we gather? Where do we gather? So I'll tell you a story. I used to be a baker. I used to be a baker in bakers. It's a natural profession being a baker. I'm not a master. This is my but one of the books I used to take a lot of my receipt suffering on this planet. The Gale of Bakery book. And when I had my bakery in New Zealand, Joe Ortiz and Gail walked into my bakery one day, and I got out and I showed them the book. See, I got your book. And then we dumped them out for lunch the next day. So that's my connection to Capitola.
Would you, if I was organized maybe 15, 20 pastors, would you come talk to the pastors in this county?
It's not persecution. I was just in big pastors convention in Florida, and they wanted me to come back and be. I've got a puppy for 2 months. Since I've been making the speeches. So if you're gathering in an underground church somewhere, they'll be able to identify. That's actually quite popular. And there won't be another country you can come to by pastors. Most people think that persecution means going down.
You're in Florida, right?
Yes. And I get out holidays a year.
Okay, great.
So what you think is email when you go. I don't think it was your head shot. Your children here in September, you might get alone. Don't think. Talk to Mingy here. I've had a bit of this. She's not nothing. She gets better. So look, I just want to thank you all for being here. I want to thank you for doing what you do. Please come and see me at the table. Look, normally this box is $25, $20. If I want about Northern California, about California, you've got to know, you've got to understand that everybody can do so. Those books will show you that. If it's growing tomatoes in your backyard, whatever it is, get them yourself, president, be liberal, uncle, whatever. But I want to thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. I had a pastor's meeting today, and Renee and his secretary over there talking about how if you're trying to figure out who to vote for, don't come to our church. That's the wrong place for it. I can hear them in the corner. And I grabbed Renee and I'm like, hey, we've had like a let's get coffee for like 6 months. When are we going to do this? Well, and he just kind of goes like this. Hey, so good to see you. Yeah, it's like, dude.
Who else is in that pastor meeting?
Oh, there's 15, 20 pastors there today.
I ask you something? My son's a pastor, and he really needs to. I'm going to watch this and I'm going to give it to him. But can you let me know ahead of time so I can invite him to that?
Where does he pastor at?
At Hope Chapel in Moss Landing, Hope Chapel.
Okay. Yeah.
He's assistant pastor.
Yeah. Okay.
His pastor is clearly.
Can you send me an email that says that?
Yeah, my email's down again, but I'll get it back up again.
You send me a text? So when I get home, I put on my list of things to do? Okay. Just you have your phone with you? Okay. Just text me or email me right away. And I'll put it on my list. Because I got lots of great ideas, and I have the ability to get people places. I got 25 projects going on, and I can't even keep them all straight.
What's going on with me? I can't stand that church. What's going on in there?
They're infiltrating. All those people that he's talking about, those. They're
Are we defend Israel? We stand by Israel. We absolutely support Israel. But we're going to give $7 billion to Iran, and you're not allowed to go after Hamas. And we're going to give a whole bunch of money to the authorities over there, which won't go to the terrorists, of course, which goes directly to the terrorists. Yeah, look. Here's what the Republicans are walking into. By tying border control to aid for Ukraine, Biden doesn't care about Ukraine. If Ukraine collapses this year and there's Russian troops on the borders of NATO and refugees all through Europe, Biden's going to blame the Republicans. It's an election year. You know, they're walking into a massive trap here. Massive trap. So how do we deal with that? What leadership do we put in? Well, we have to look. I would like someone like John Bolton as Secretary of State again, because he understands these people. He's got a lot of faults, but he will deal. Look, we are facing. The next president's going to face up against Xi and Putin and Rocket Boy and the mullahs. Plus what's coming across the southern border, plus what's happening internally. You don't want pretty little Christy Nome as a VP. You don't want someone like that. The VP, for a start, has got to be someone meaner and tougher than Trump. Yeah. So then I've got no incentive to bump Trump off, because the VP would be even tougher. And I don't see anybody immediately on their rise. I'd get some real military guy for VP. Hardcore. See, this is what Trump has to do. He would have to say, Mr. Putin, we're going to back Ukraine, and our goal is for Ukraine to win and recover all its territories. That is the goal. Biden's never said that. That is the goal. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to open up the energy fields in America. We're going to let people drill in their backyard if they want to. We're going to drop the price of oil to $1 a gallon all over the world. And we're going to be rich. And we're going to give all the oil that Europe wants. And you're going to go broke, Mr. Putin. Do you really want to keep this war going? But see, Biden's doing, because he's not putting a clear objective out there, because he's slow walking all the aid, and he's keeping the price of energy high and doing backroom deals with Putin behind Zelensky's back, he is just playing with them. But conservatives are very confused now, because they think, oh well, Biden hates Putin, so Putin must be all right, and the Ukrainians are hopelessly corrupt, which is Russian lies. New Jersey's corrupt.
Let's not have any debates. We're going to do questions only.
I'm just saying I agree. I actually agree. I agree with everything you're saying.
Thank you. We'll talk about it later. So one more question.
Any other questions?
Lady at the back. Yeah. Yeah, look, see, my message has really mainly been political. career. I only really started to even think about the spiritual side of this years since I really got involved in doing the movie Enemy Within the Church. Really started to think about these things. So I've probably spoken to 1,000 groups around the country, quite a few church groups, mainly Republican, Tea Party, grassroots conservatives, all of that kind of thing, assemblies. Plus I write the books, make the DVDs, plus I do tons and tons of podcasts and TV shows. Got a show coming up on Patriot TV, which is a good thing standing. So I'm full-time for the last 15 years, been a full-time anti-communist. I'll tell you a story. I used to be a baker. I used to be a baker in bakeries. It's a natural progression being a baker in New Zealand to an anti-communist America. But one of the books I used to take a lot of my recipes from was the Gale's Bakery book. And when I had my bakery in New Zealand, Joe Ortiz and Gale walked into my bakery one day, and I got out and I showed them the book. See, I got your book. And then we took them out for lunch the next day. So that's my connection to Capitola.
Would you, if I was organized maybe 15, 20 pastors, would you come talk to the pastors?
Sure.
In this county?
Yeah, I did that. I was just at a big pastors' convention in Florida, and they wanted me to come back, and I've got it. Since I've been making the speech about, basically it's a sin not to defend your country. Mm-hmm. That's actually got quite popular, and I've been asked to do quite a few speeches at pastors' conventions.
Cool. You're in Florida, right?
Yes.
A little bit.
I get out to California for.
Okay, great.
So what you do is you email me and say when you get to spend. You can say, I'm going to be here in September. You might be able to organise. Talk to Mingy here. She's my she gets better. So look, I just want to thank you all for being here. I want to thank you for doing what you do. Please come and see me at the table. Look, normally those books are $25, $28 each. They're just $20 because I want about Northern California. They're about California, and you've got to know your enemy. Mm-hmm. You've got to understand how the enemy works. Those books will show you that better than anything else out there in the market. So, get them yourself for presents for your liberal uncle, whatever. But I want to thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Brandon.
Appreciate it.
It's a great idea.
I had a pastor's meeting today, and Renee and his secretary over there talking about how if you're trying to figure out who to vote for, don't come to our church. That's the wrong place for it. I can hear them in the corner. They're just like, dude. And I grabbed Renee and I'm like, hey, we've had like a let's get coffee for like 6 months. When are we going to do this? Well, and yeah, he just kind of goes like this. Hey, so good to see you. Yeah, it's like, dude.
Who else is in that pastor meeting?
Oh, there was 15, 20 pastors there today.
I have you something. My son's a pastor, and he really needs. I'm going to watch this and I'm going to give it to him. But can you let me know ahead of time so I can invite him to that?
Where does he pastor at?
At Harbor Chapel in Moss Landing, Harbor Chapel.
Okay. Yeah.
He's assistant pastor.
Yeah. Okay.
His pastor is clearly.
Can you send me an email that says that?
Yeah, my email is down again, but I'll get it back up.
Did you send me a text? So when I get home, I put on my list of things to do? Okay. Just you have your phone with you? Okay, just text me or email me right away. And I'll put it on my list. Because I got lots of great ideas, and I have the ability to get people places. I got 25 projects going on, and I can't even keep them all straight.
What's going on with me? I can't stand that church. What's going on?
They're infiltrating. For all those people that he's talking about,
He's buying it all.
they're